Peace, family. This is your boy Juro. It is Veterans Day. First and foremost, shout out to those who have donned the uniform, had to lace the boots, grab that bag, divide half your life and own unknown places. For those who have served, I say thank you from one former military member to another. But I would be remiss because if you had an extension to your family, may it be the ultimate gift of a spouse, your extensions being your children, the walking, talking examples of your life that look just like you. Thank you for your service. Because I've come to learn through my journey, because as you know, that as long as we are above ground, there's always opportunity for us to learn something new, for something to be validated, to be used as our stepping stones, such as your foundation, done by love, by vulnerability, but also by choice. Because, see, nothing happens by chance, family. I know that you understand that when I tell you that, because if you choose not to, you're basically allowing 50% of your effort, your time, to be divided by and influenced by your environment. And what makes up your environment? It is your state of being. That is why your mind is so beautiful. That is why your life is so precious. That is why there is a requirement and a responsibility to be you. But see, I understand sometimes, family, that there are things that come up that we might not understand. There may be things that have no logical explanation or solution. And the reason for that is you're really looking at the solution in front of you, but it's requiring you to claim it. But see, I understand we live in a world that we don't want to believe in the things that we cannot physically touch, physically, or be able to see. We must base it off of logic. Logic. Well, let me ask you this. How much does your logic matter if you logically don't have a relationship with the person in the mirror looking back? Think about it. Is this the day that you finally give yourself the time, the concession, the investment to be not only what your God given talent that you possess? See, first of all, you're not crazy. You're not crazy that you were born with a natural gift. That is why each individual that walks on this planet are also given strengths and weaknesses. Do you think that was by chance that just there are certain things that you still cannot grasp and you are in your adulthood, but there are certain things that you can look at, figure out without batting an eye and complete it without struggle? It's part of your assignment. It's part of your existence. But I don't want to bash scriptures, but I remember there was a time that I used to wear this shirt. Some of y'all may remember I used to wear this t-shirt and when I had my apartment, and it said I want to say it was a scripture from Corinthians, but it said, and I'm going to paraphrase it, every man dies, but not every man truly lives. And I used to wear that shirt, that t-shirt, all the time. I know somebody say no because that's mean you didn't want to do your laundry. No, that's not true. That's not true. I just had a kindred connection with that shirt. But the point I'm trying to make is I realized, it took me some time, that you truly cannot live until you truly have a relationship with yourself. You're not going to find it ripping and running, turning the pages with the ages, thinking that the influence and sometimes can be the opportunists are going to be the teachers of your development. No. Even every setback that we face is not a setback, it's a setup. Did you hear me? You might be going through some financial issues right now. Who am I talking to? And you don't know how you're going to make ends meet. We all been there. But if you want them ends to meet, you must first acknowledge it exists. Same goes with some of you dealing with a broken heart. Dealing with a broken heart now, ain't you? Pride ain't working out like you thought it was. You thought that your wit in the mentality of, you know what, less is more and what they don't know won't hurt. And I'll beat them at their game, ending up being played by the certain or the same game. It's not a game, it's non ownership. So, how can you have accountability if you will not acknowledge what is being presented? Now, let me get off my soapbox because I wanted to share something with y'all. Now, I'm multitasking, so bear with me. So, these last 2 weeks, I was out training. And while I was away, two things were revealed to me. Number one, your life is not over, or your life does not end because a chapter does. Did you hear me? Your life is not over if a chapter ends. Kind of like why I always say, don't look at your setback as a setback. Look at that as an opportunity for your setup. It's the same thing. Because if someone, you know the cliche when people say, well, if somebody told me this, if I knew what I knew now, then I would be a different person. But in actuality, that's not true. You are still the same person you were the moment you took your first breath. It's just you've allowed yourself permission to embrace the wisdom and the insight that comes from being you. And I'll explain. So where I had to go train, it instantly took me back emotionally 26 years in my past. You're saying 26 years? Yeah, 26 years. Because 26 years ago, I was a young airman serving in the United States Air Force, just starting off my career. And where we would go, or where we would be called upon to do our training requirements for our career field, I spent a lot of time there in various stages of my life in my military career. So to turn around and go back to where it all began, it was literally like you going back to where you started your elementary development. That's exactly how it felt. Yes, brick and steel do not change. It stands the test in time or until the requirement has been completed. So, my first day, I was very humbled and in awe how the things that I took for granted were still there, and the things that were replaced or evolved since then had a placement. And it just made me think, like, wow, all this was there the whole time, and I never took time to take note. It would take me 26 years to come to that conclusion. And I enjoyed every moment of it. Even came out of it with a A average. Wasn't striving to be the top guy, but I just wanted to do well. Plus, who wants to come back with ridicule? Oh, you didn't pass? Ain't nobody trying to do that. So, needless to say, while I was up there, I ended up not only being afforded opportunity to go through the beautiful city of Philadelphia. Shout out to those that are from Philly, Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, DMV, home, DC. And it's funny how things stay the same, but they always change. And if someone had told me, hey, within this block of time, within 14 days, not only are you going to walk on this sacred ground, this hollow ground, you're going to also be afforded to see this as well. I would have told them, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Because my time is precious. But I realized in this process of going there to sharpen my skills, stay focused on my task of why I was there. God was there the whole time, y'all. And I know somebody was like, you going to bring God up. I got to. Because it was already written for me to embrace it or be afforded the opportunity to embrace it. So basically, it's like setting up the opportunity, but it's my responsibility to take it. Sometimes that might require you to step out of your comfort zone. You may hear people say, well, try something different, try something new. Just like trying a new meal. You might turn your nose up to it because of what it looks like. Some of y'all probably sniff your food still. Who am I talking to? You still sniffing your food before you eat it? Huh? You still doing that? Come on now. But what I gathered out of that was sometimes if you take the focus out and just embrace the moment, that's the gift. That's the gift. That was a gift that was already waiting for you all along. Now I know some of y'all may feel like this. You like you like to travel, you like to do things, but you're saying, well, Gerald, that's fine, but I don't like doing it by myself. Those are memories I would like to share with someone that really cares about me, that gives a damn about me, that gets me. Some of y'all are still on the do they get me stage. Let me tell you something. You're being too critical on yourself. But also know this, until you make a decision to love yourself, LOVE, don't worry about looking for a companion? Because they can't find you until you know you. Did you hear me? It doesn't matter what you got folded in your pocket, what is swinging between your legs, or how your wiggle sways on a sunny day. It don't matter. What matters is that person in the mirror looking back that wakes up in the morning to greet you. Before somebody turns around and takes a position of, well, that sounds like you being shallow. That sounds like you being conceited. Conceited. No, what I'm saying is give yourself permission to love yourself. Now, granted, we have a lifetime to figure that out, right? That's the initial um, afforded opportunity. But we live on a planet with a fifth dimension where some of those opportunities are not granted. And unfortunately, people are called home before their time. And I don't have to tell you that because as long as you turn on that boob tube, you're going to see somebody beating the gong for profit. And you said, well, why would you say that, Gerald? Come on, man. Now think about it. If there was no money to be gained, you would not see it. You wouldn't see no airtime. You wouldn't. Because then that means in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, then that means everybody matters. But you know, they're not going to afford that because that means that requires to be truthful. Now, don't it? So, take the zoom out your life. Slow it down a little bit. You might not realize that the opportunity that you've been searching for has been there the whole time. And when you turn around and allow yourself to take note, you're going to see the most beautiful thing looking back, and that's you. Now, I know some of y'all don't want to hear that because some of y'all waking up with issues, problems with your relationships. You want to fix your relationship? You want to fix it? Real simple. Build the communication inside yourself first. Because the tactic of trying to strong arm somebody to listen to you will never work. Actually, the greatest impact you can make to a person is silence. You know why? It's because your presence speaks volumes without a word. Why? Because you're a spiritual being. Mm-hmm. That's why you see time and time again, and you may not want to acknowledge it yourself. You can walk in the room, not say a word, and people will notice that you're there, good or bad. Number one, that will generate a reaction of respect and honor or distance. Now, the work that comes with that is deciding on what position that your life represents. Now, people go through ups and downs. We see that all the time. What goes up must come down. But what about the balance? I can say this right now. Somebody's going to see this video, and you're going to say to yourself, you know what? He's right. The things that I really matter to me, I need to invest more time in. It's not selfish to focus on yourself. Sometimes you need to take yourself off the grid. Let people wonder. Let them wonder. Because when they wonder, that will spark the desire to know, which will ultimately result in investing in what and who you are. Now, on the flip, because I done been running a GIP for 20 minutes, I also saw something these last 2 weeks that I kind of spoke on it a couple months ago, but it hit home uh, these last couple of days. And that is the fact that in a town near you, in the city near you, in a state near you, your memories, such as the landmarks and the things that make up your history, are disappearing, aren't they? The neighborhoods are changing. The little corner store that you used to go get that bread because your moms or your parents didn't want to go to the store. They sent you to the store to get the newspaper or whatever. It ain't there no more. The things that used to be the staples of our communities are drying up ever so quickly. It's like real life Monopoly. Y'all know y'all play the game Monopoly and look at how our society is going and base that on the board game. And tell me you don't see a parallel in that. Because, see, at the end of the game of Monopoly, you don't have a group of people winning, there's only one. And the end goal is what? To totally monopolize you. And that's the reality that we're going in, family. I noticed that when I went up the coast and went through Philly, went through Jersey, and the things that had history for 50 plus years ain't there no more. There's a for sale sign on where that property was. And just coming to work right now, I happen to take a long route to come in. And I never thought in a million years, saying that metaphorically, that I would see a big for sale sign in front of a church. In front of a church. I'm like, damn, is time so hard that what the church represented has no match to a price tag? And then I noticed when I went through my home, DC, and I was only there for a moment, but I was there long enough to get some food from the carryout. Shout out to my folks from DC. I was there long enough to hit up one of the carryouts I used to go to as a teenager. And as I drove through the city, areas that had stood the test of time have fallen to corporate influence. And what used to be solid neighborhoods, those neighborhoods are no more. But through it all, you know what I saw? I saw storage facilities. 4, 5, 6 level storage units. And I'm like, that was pretty scary because that was also saying, hey, the economy and the cost to live in where you live at is going to constantly increase until you can't afford to live there no more. So that affords the opportunities from those who do not know anything. Just they know an opportunity. They're going to take advantage of it. Now, I know there are going to be some people say, well, that sounds kind of racist, Joe. No, I'm not. I'm talking about legacy. Because I guarantee you, this same wave is not felt in middle America. It's not. And yes, history always repeats itself. And the reason why it repeats itself through time, I believe, is because God is trying to tell man, did you learn or do you understand what I'm showing you? Because it's our responsibility as individuals to do what? To learn from our mistakes. If we learn from our mistakes, we won't repeat them. But if we don't acknowledge what is present, we're going to repeat it. And I thought that, yeah, there's certain areas, you know, the economy tanked. One, because of the housing bubble back in the 90s. Some of y'all may know what I'm talking about. 95, 96, early 2000. Certain areas you couldn't even think about being a homeowner. You'd be lucky to have a decent apartment, but you paying mortgage of like you had a house. Thank you. And I'm doing this on my phone. Yeah, I'm in my Jeep. Like, oh, you ain't got no Jeep. Yeah, I do. See? So you can't say you ain't never seen a brother drive a Jeep. I drive one. This is my second one. Not that it matter, because I'm thinking actually next year I'm going to have to break down and buy me a truck. I ain't getting rid of the Jeep though. But it our economy, there is a drastic shift going on, and you can parallel that no different than somebody jumping in a swimming pool. When you get in a swimming pool, you can just slide in without any fear, and it'll go up to your knee. But as you start to progress in the deeper levels, then the fear may come. Then the stress may be evident. And what's required is you to keep your head, to have a game plan, and allow yourself to see if you can stay afloat. And I'm saying that because some of y'all know me too well, because y'all know that one of my pastimes, I'm always looking for a deal. I'm always in Marshalls. I'm always in Ross and spots like that. But I spend a lot of time on Amazon because I'm always trying to stretch my dollar for what it is. I use those stores as a way to, if it's something that I like, I'll use that as a place that I will touch it, I will see it, and then take that information. Then I go online. Yes, gentrification is real, family. It's real. And the funny thing about it is, it's always been here. It actually goes to the roots of supply and demand, if you think about it. And that is why you will see many people make a mad exodus from suburbia to the inner cities. You say, well, how's that? Why would somebody do that? Well, because the truth of the matter is, you have a lot of people that are insecure, and they gravitate towards status, and they feel that their validation, they've got to have the best of the best. Now if you can afford it, great. But some of y'all may remember this commercial that was like maybe 5, 10 years ago, and it was based off of. It started off this. It was a scene. They were in like the suburbs, and the guy's going through this neighborhood, and he sees his neighbor, and the neighbor's got a nice house. He's got a nice cars, and I'm just gonna paraphrase, and he said, "Hey Jeff, how you doing?" And Jeff has this glazed look over his face, and he looks, and instead of saying hello back, he says, "I'm in debt up to my eyeballs." He was so stressed out, he had lost his smile. because people realize they are one setback or one situation and it's a house of cards. They'll lose it all. And it's real. It's real. But see, they want to turn around and paint this picture that it's only one class of people. And, I say class because you can remove the demographic. You can remove that because economics has no gender. It's about supply and demand. And that is why now so many things are being politicized, excuse my mouth, it's not working, but it's also being polarized in the process. And that's why they're using this as a tactic for what we know as emotional triggers, too. That's why you got so many people that are unfortunately fearful for their security. And some may feel that, well, I'm going to go get armed to my teeth only to end up having a mishap because of fear. Because the truth of the matter is, the people that are doing what's right, are law abiding, are out there getting up every day, being as responsible as they can to make them bills paid, they're playing by the rules. And those that make their own rules, laws don't apply. And that's the reality of it. And that's why, as you already know, as the Most High said, those who are last shall be first, and those who are first shall be last. It's not to punish you, it's to prepare you. That's why not everybody is going to earn the right to walk with you, to know your story, to be able to watch you grow. I will keep saying this until the intended heart and mind hear this. You can't buy somebody's friendship. That's what manipulation does, and that's temporary. Because on the other side of manipulation is truth by way of pain. Haven't you noticed when you go through something that was hurtful, that is the most sobering feeling you'll ever go through? Because that's pain, that's reality. Some Sometimes it can feel like your heart wants to free fall right out of your chest. Why? You know why you feeling all that? It's to let you know how much you really loved and what you deserve all along. And ain't nothing frustrating more is that the people that you perceive that will be till the end of time cannot. But even in that moment, family, don't take it personal. Take note. And if you're doing right, guess what? You'll sleep better at night. But guess what? Here's the stark reality of that. All those people that you genuinely showed compassion to, showed kindness, appreciation, commitment, you are planting a seed and a template within them. And guess what? You're not going to see that part. You're not. Because that's going to be the template that they are going to have to use. Those are going to be the setbacks and the disappointments that will be the reality from them. Because every time they try to go out and do things, they're going to fall short. They're going to fall, it's not going to measure up. And the frustrating part about that is the fact is your name, your spirit, And even sometimes your presence will come up in review. And that's what's going to be frustrating to them because they're going to have to admit that you did well, you did right. And here's the hard part for you: no man knoweth the time nor the moment, but just believe in the intended time and moment. You're going to see him again. You may go through a cycle that you'll keep running into him throughout your development of your life. Know why? Because ultimately, that conversation, that truth, that moment that has to play out, it will play out. So hold yourself with dignity, with grace. Never forget, no one will love you more than you will love yourself. Because that love that you have is just as precious as the air that you breathe. That's why Johnny Rockhead, he got no motivation. He ain't got no energy to better himself. Not at that moment. You know why? Because you in the way. I know that might be hard for somebody to hear. Because your intentions may be pure. And you be like, well, no, I just want to help them get on their feet. I want the best for them. But guess what? Don't you think they know that? And I'm going to tell you why they know that. Because that was validated the moment you said hello to them for the first time. But it took a minute for it to be revealed. It took a minute for who they really were to be revealed. And that's the painful part. That's the painful part. But don't worry. If it's divinely meant, watch what is. Why? You got a whole lot of love inside you. And you still got those dreams and aspirations that you had as a little boy or a little girl. Still there. Why? Because you're called upon to make it a reality. Why? Because you're blessed. So I'm going to end this because I got to go to work. For those who served, thank you for your service. And those who love you, every step, every memento, it was divine. And it's your legacy. So protect it. Okay, guys, gals, queens. As I always say, God's praying for you. You know I am. And for that, it helps me discern mine. I really believe 2019 is going to be more eye-opening than the last 22 months. But it is your responsibility to be prepared no matter what. And that's the reason why the videos of the ant and the grasshopper exist. So if you haven't seen them, check them out. All right. If you have this day off, enjoy it because you get back on the grind tomorrow. And some of us, we got to do what we got to do so you can rest. Be easy. Peace.